I'm gonna keep it real with you guys on this one. I got a lot on my mind, just like the rest of you. I've been waiting with bated breath to see what Carl's Jr. had to say about racism. And I was very thankful to learn that the nation's leading highway trucker fast food joint is not a racist. See, some of you may be finding out for the first time that our country actually has a little problem called systematic racism. It's essentially a system of racism. And honestly, I wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't for all these brands letting me know that racism is wrong. You see, it's not all the people that are on the ground that are trying to stop the systematic racism and class war on the lower and middle class in this country. No, it's the brands. These brands definitely didn't let all the people do all the hard work and then swoop in at the last second and say, hey, we support this so you can keep buying our shit. No, that didn't happen at all. See, the way I remember it is that all these brands went online from the comfort of their executive offices and put a black square on Instagram. And that is really what started the dialogue about ending systematic racism. These brands are really concerned about our basic human rights. They don't exploit us at all. So, thank you, San Francisco 49ers, for standing up against racism. They posted an empty box filled with their good intentions. And for anyone wondering, this was the first time the 49ers actually had to stand up against racism. There was zero other times where they could have stood by their player that was making a peaceful protest, just trying to shine light on an issue in America that needs to be addressed. I can't think of anything at all. So thank you 49ers for standing up against racism. Now that the league enacted a rule that your team gets fined for kneeling, it's safe for you to be on the right side of this now. Really just is a win-win for your organization, so good job. I also want to thank another NFL team for standing up against racism, the Washington Redskins. Sorry, I can't say their full name on this channel because I don't want YouTube to strike me for hate speech about a minority group of people. So thank you Washington Redskins for letting everyone know that racism is wrong. Just not wrong enough to change your name though. None of this anti-racism jargon actually applies to you guys. I know that because you made an entire Instagram post dedicated to standing up against racism, and the people in the comments are loving you for it. Maybe changing your name to the Washington racial slurs might be a little more tasteful. I don't know. It's up to you guys, I guess. You know, the thing about these protests is I gotta say, if you want to protest the government, then you have to protest the way the government wants you to protest. If the institutions that are violently oppressing you want you to be peaceful, you need to be peaceful. Otherwise, how are they going to listen to us? It took 8 days of burning buildings to get 4 cops arrested. But I bet if we would have just sat in a circle and sang Kumbaya, they would have arrested him in 4 days minimum. So if you want to protest, you need to get a city-approved permit and do it in a peaceful manner that is sectioned off and everyone is properly socially distanced 6 feet apart. Wait, is coronavirus still a thing? Let's ask Dr. Fauci. Oh, no one has seen or heard from him since these protests started? Well, alright, I guess the coronavirus is just gone now. Looks like me, along with 50 million other Americans, got their jobs taken away by the government for no reason. The message I'm getting is that I can't go to work to clean any toilets because no one is shitting in them. But if I want to go take a shit in the middle of the street surrounded by thousands of people, it's okay because no one's going to be able to arrest me. Well, I guess this is that new normal everyone was talking about. I'm sure they'll clear this protest and coronavirus thing up real soon. Hey, remember when everyone had to stay inside for 3 months and you couldn't see your family so you could save your grandpa's life? Well, now the government will just kill your grandpa for you. They're skipping the steps for us. We should be thanking them. So thank you brands for trying to end all the injustice in the country. Like one of my favorite brands, Disney. They really care about stopping racism in this country, guys. They care so much that they copy and pasted the same statement across all their brands on Instagram. Apparently they're too busy fighting racism to have time to think of more than one statement for each of their properties. Honestly, I was just really moved at what the CEO of JP Morgan did. He made a serious stand against racism by kneeling on CNBC in front of his bank vault that holds their $2.6 trillion. And because of the protest and the allegations of racist practices within their company, JP Morgan will now simplify the process through which employees file customer complaints and flag serious concerns to the senior management. Wow, that's a serious step forward. They're taking talking to the manager to the next level. When you complain, you'll be talking to the manager's manager. You see, this apparently was all just a big misunderstanding. It wasn't the senior staff that was denying loans to black people and minorities systematically across all their locations. It was that first manager. It's his fault. The guy making $38,000 a year. He's the one behind the banking system's racism. Blame this fucker. I'm gonna start by popping the tires on his Kia Sorento. McDonald's really cares about the black community, guys. They definitely always get ahead of these social issues. Look at their most recent tweet. We support the desegregation of schools. Oh, well, maybe they didn't really get ahead of that issue, but at least we know what side they're on. Nike really does a lot to help out against injustice in the world. Besides being built on a foundation of slavery from 9-year-old Pakistani children sewing in sweatshops and forced labor camps, they also gave us the Livestrong bracelet. It's alright that their workers are child slaves because I too am a slave to trends. And it looks like the trendy thing for them to do right now is to play some serious music with white letters in front of a black background to let you know that this brand is really going through this difficult time with us. So to show you how much they want to support these protests, they'll be unveiling their new product, Nike Bricks. These Nike Bricks will only be redeemable at Nike stores, and 1% of the proceeds will go to helping child slaves in Pakistan by finally installing working AC in their Nike sweatshops.